I'm Alex from VALORANT, Coach Mulder. Yes.
All right, and that's what he said. And I'm Pedro, back with another interview. This time covering VCT Masters 2025. Obviously, Paper X are coming off of this, defeating Team Heretics at the start of their run in said event, moving on to the next round in said phase and in said event. So, Alex, thank you so much for the time once again. This time in Masters Toronto, and it's obviously one in which starting off on the right foot. Obviously, the kind of result you guys would have wanted to have. So still though, like for it to finish 2-0 in a relatively clean fashion, I would say. I mean, there was one thing to like look at this and say, okay, we might have a pretty difficult cold match on our hands, but it's another thing to kind of like go through this without major issues. So were you kind of surprised that it kind of ended in this way?
Um. Yeah. I guess you could say that like it wasn't as close as I thought it would be. I thought it would be like three mapper, to be honest with you.
hmm And like obviously, the tone was set at the start of this first map, 13-1 in Pearl. I mean, everybody kind of like lost their minds, looking at how that match transpired. But like knowing this team and and the form that you guys have been on since the end of VCT Pacific is kind of like now not surprising. Still, I want to ask you just sort of like the game plan, specifically on that map one, going for Pearl. You know, given the Heretics hasn't really been playing that map in recent times, was that kind of like the reason why you guys wanted to go for it and give the surprising pick, or was there any aspect that kind of like contributed to the decision?
Yeah. I mean, when we went back, I think these kind of games are a bit strange because you have a lot of time. So we looked at what we were picking. We knew that Heretics is going to prepare for Lotus for sure because we've been picking that first for a long time, and we thought we didn't really want to go with a map that we have shown too much of in the first map of the event. So we were choosing between Split and Pearl and maybe Ascent. Because I think they run double duelist on Ascent, which is something different that we're not used to. So we were considering that, but I think ended up being a choice between Ascent and Pearl, and we went for Pearl.
And
I
like,
thought I honestly thought they were gonna run the Jet Euro comp again. So welcome surprise when we saw like single duelist. We were expecting like a lot more like upfront fights.
so when you saw that the Heretics was going to a different direction, what was your like thought mind process like that? What was your thought process there? Were you like, okay, this might be a much easier a matchup, or what do you think?
I just thought it was good for us because we knew in Apex we play a lot of breach and scrims, so at least we know like okay, this is what the agent can do. We were quite prepared for that. Um, but definitely surprised us a bit. I honestly really thought they were gonna go double do this. So I think it's helpful to be like okay, all the anti strats go out the window, and we just have to play the game.
Yeah, and it definitely fared well for you guys in that first map. And then kind of moving on over to icebox. I want to ask you sort of like the same similar type of question, and knowing what Heretics had in their hand on that map. What do you feel made the difference for you guys to come out of this with a clean victory on that second map?
I mean, I think we all know the pistol rounds, for four maps. It's impossible to start strong if you just cannot get a pistol round. Um, I did think we should play defense a little bit better, but I think props to them. They really like dug deep for the attack half. It should have been cleaner for us. I think we lost two 5v3s when it really mattered. Something of the sort. Sorry, I missed your question. It was how do we? I you have to repeat your question. Sorry.
No, it was more so like your thoughts on like what do you think made the difference in icebox.
I don't know, to be honest. I honestly think it was just a bit composure kind of thing. I think they usually have a very good icebox, so I mean it's hard, like
Yeah.
if my team got 13-1 first map of the event, like even if you try to bounce back, it's like the other team sometimes there's just so much momentum. I think that really helped us.
And yeah, it definitely helped you for the end of this matchup. I want to backtrack over and just kind of look at how the team has been preparing from the end of Masters or VCT Pacific. Obviously, a good indication of this is just looking at your team's performance on the icebox. Like you guys been able to play it 4 times, to 5 today, including right now, and you guys have not really basically stayed perfect, almost perfect, losing to DRX with that one time in the qualifier for like the EWC kind of thing. Just walk me through how you guys have been able to refine your game plan, refine your performance, refine your form, and the many opportunities you guys have been able to have in these events in the lead up to Masters Toronto. How much has that helped this team to be at a much stronger level right now?
To be honest, actually, we haven't had much practice with Patman because he had to go back to do his visa immediately to Toronto and as well as to Korea for the next split. So we couldn't practice him at all, and we had to play EWC. So I mean, obviously, having Mind Freak around is a godsend. Right? He's a really really good player. So it didn't really affect us that much. We just had to switch roles a little bit. But by and large, I think as soon as we finished our stage one, we prepared for EWC. Like maybe we had like 5 days, something of the sort. Prepared for EWC, played EWC with Mind Freak. That took about 3 or 4 days. And at the time, I think EMEA also just finished. So we had a lot of time to just like watch games rather than like actually practice together. Then we took a short break. We went to a different country together, just like relax and talk about our game, you know. So it was a lot more like talking than anything else. And then we came back to Korea, practiced for about 3 4 days before we flew here. I mean, our goal was mainly to just beat jet lag, you know, and with it's still little bit difficult. We're not sleeping very well, but I think it goes for every team that's not American, you know, like 7 hours difference or 12 hours difference, still jet lag. Um, that's pretty much what happened. We picked some comps we want to change. We did a lot more talking, theory work rather than actually playing. Got here, as soon as we got here, we tried to make sure that we had good scrims, and that was it.
I mean, I'm curious on what you think about this question that I'm going to ask you. Like, obviously, with Mind Freak over into the bench and Patman having to slot into the team, obviously, it's not the same kind of core that all fans are accustomed to and watching for many years. And like in the meantime, while that old core was being successful, you had all of the talk about W gaming and the free form kind of play style. I want to ask you, like, Patman, has that kind of psyche slash identity still being present with this form? Now you have to bring in Patman, or is it a different kind of version that fans are accustomed to nowadays?
I mean, I think at the core, since I'm coaching, it's going to be a specific way of playing, you know. It's going to be aggressive. It's going to be as exciting as we can make it to be. I think we genuinely enjoy like messing around the server and trying to be as like we like to end the rounds fast. You know, it's not going to change. But I mean, with different players come different things that we can do, right? Different Pat has different strengths and weaknesses than Mind Freak. You know, based on the agents that you can play, based on like what the other players need to play. So it will look a bit different. But by and large, I mean, between me and Mini's help and Mind Freak's help, you know, we will create a system that we think works. It is exciting, and hopefully fans still enjoy.
For sure. One more question. Obviously, like it was kind of a mention in the press conference about the last time you guys being here in North America. That was in Champions 2023. Obviously, you guys finished in runners up, losing to EG in the grand finals. I want to ask you just sort of now that you're back in North America, what do you feel is like the potential for this team in this competition?
I mean, we would like to win the trophy, but we're well aware that it's like I think this tournament is really really stacked. Um, I think it doesn't matter what masters or champions we go to. Our goal is always the same. You know, we try to remove the expectations from ourselves, do our best. But if we can hit top four, that would be satisfactory for us. You know, I usually think that these kind of tournaments, it really comes down to sometimes like form, you know, read on the meta, like good prep, a little bit of luck. You know, like for example, today we had like a Sova drone that attacked 2 players. That is very rare in pro scene, and just nice we were gonna use a Sova ulti as well. You know, so these kind of rounds really change the game. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. So we usually have a very relaxed attitude about it, but we'll try our best.
Sure, you guys will definitely be doing that. Alex, thank you so much for the opportunity, for the interview, for the conversation. Really do appreciate it. And best of luck goes to you the rest of the way, man.
Thank you, thank you. See you.
See you, man.